Hi there, travel creators. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Laura, and if you're new here, I am a content developer for travel creators. As you might know by now, if you've been listening for a bit, I am a die-hard fan of content repurposing, especially for travel creators. So in this episode, we will be diving into how you can know what pieces of content are worth repurposing and how you can get started. There are a lot of good tips coming your way in this episode, so you might want to take some notes or maybe revisit this if you have to. Okay, let's do this. So if you've been a creator for a while, you probably have a ton of content. And when that happens, it can be hard to know where to even begin this content repurposing process, or like even how to organize such a high volume of content. But the first thing you're going to want to do is just choose one platform you share content on. Maybe that's your blog. Maybe that's your newsletter. Maybe it's Instagram or TikTok. It doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you do. For this example, I'm going to walk you through, let's say you want to start with Instagram. First, if your profile is not set to professional mode, go ahead and switch it over. It's a couple of taps and you get way better analytics if you are in professional mode. So if you are on the app, you can go up to the hamburger menu, select settings and privacy, and then it should be right around there that you can switch over. Google will also be your best friend here. The second layer of getting even better analytics than just what the app can give you involves linking your Instagram account to Meta Business Suite. I always look at my Instagram analytics on the computer through Meta Business Suite. It's just like a way better user experience. Unfortunately, to get all of the good stuff from Meta, you have to create a business page and then link that to your Instagram account. By business page, I mean you have to create a business Facebook page. There are a lot of great tutorials, videos, blogs on the internet on how to do this, and it should really only take you a few minutes. And I think it's totally worth it. So you can see a lot of good stuff there. And it's easier if you wanted to run ads or something. If you've got that all connected, you can head into your Meta Business Suite, go to Insights, select the date range for your content. And I would select between the last 12 months is really what we want to look at. And then filter the results by the highest reach. I do not want to bore you with the details of Meta Business Suite anymore. But essentially, you're looking for your top performing pieces of content. I typically measure your top performing content by the pieces that have the highest reach or the pieces that have been pushed out to the most people, because the more interactions your posts have, the more people they will reach, because you're telling the algorithm, hey, this seems to be interesting. More people might want to see this. And then it does its thing. I'm no expert on how Instagram software works, but that is my understanding. Okay, so now that we've filtered through our results, we've got our top pieces of content in front of us. You can do this on the app, by the way. So you don't have to do all this Meta Business Suite stuff. I just think that it is well worth it. So now you have a good idea of your top pieces of performing content. So now is the time to ask a couple of questions to help you determine, is this piece of content worth repurposing? Or how can I actually repurpose this piece of content? So let's start by looking at your top pieces from the entire last 12 months. And we're going to ask some questions about it. And try and answer these questions as objectively as possible. It helps to act like you've never seen this piece of content before. I am laughing because the Leo in me struggles with that. Okay. First, make a mental note. Is this post a reel? Is it a graphic? Is it a story? This will become important later. And yes, I do think that we should always count stories as contenders for being some of your top pieces of content, because people drop a lot of knowledge in those that oftentimes don't get repurposed onto your actual feed, which is unfortunate. Anyway, make a mental note of what medium this piece of content was originally posted in, because we will come back to that later. The first thing you're going to want to ask yourself is, what kind of piece of content is this? What was the reason it was created? Is it a taboo piece of content? Is it a tangible tip? Was it created to entertain? Spend a few minutes trying to dig into this piece objectively and answer those questions. The next question we'll aim to answer is, what hashtags and keywords are being used here? You know your travel niche, and there are probably several keywords or hashtags that you use in your content pretty regularly. So make note of any that you also see being used in this post. Since you're digging deep into this post, you'll also want to look for the pain point this post is answering. Is it helping someone learn how to pack in a carry-on? Or maybe it's helping someone navigate Rome when they've never been there before. What is the pain point you're answering behind these guides and tips? The next step is to move over to your content repurposing sheet. Things feel official when we get here. I cover everything you need to know about that in episode 2, so you don't want to miss that one. This will be way more helpful this episode if you listen to that one first, so cue that one up. In your sheet, you're going to give this piece of content a title. Of course, naming it something that immediately reminds you what the piece is about is going to be most helpful here. And continuing on with this example, this piece of content that is your top performing piece of content overall for the year, let's say it was posted originally as a reel on Instagram. So we are going to add that as a card in Asana or like as a note and put that in the column of Instagram reel. If you are confused here, go ahead, go back to episode 2, just pause me right here. I will miss you, but you'll come back. It's okay. This repurposing sheet will make much more sense after you listen to that. So when you open up that card that you just gave a title to, you can write down any content ideas that immediately come to mind for you when you think about how you can repurpose this piece of content. Maybe when you're answering all of these questions we're just running through about the piece of content, there's a few ideas that come to you immediately about how you can make this into a blog post or how you might want to add it to a newsletter. Maybe you had like a really good hook that could be the title of your blog post. Maybe it was like leading to a really good freebie that you have that you can link in your newsletter. This is also the part where you revisit your goals. What's the main point or goal you want to reach in your content journey? Is it to get people to visit your website? Is it to get people to buy your course? Understanding this can help you determine where or which platform to focus on when it's time to begin transforming your content into other pieces. It will help you know, where should I start? Like, okay, if I want to get people to schedule a call with me, maybe I am going to focus on turning this content into newsletter content first, because I know that my newsletter converts much higher than putting a CTA in my social caption. So you got to kind of know a little bit about what has worked well historically for you. So before you get into writing all of this fun stuff and repurposing, you're going to want to repeat this process, asking these questions to the top 10 pieces of content on each platform you show up on. So now it might be time to head over to Facebook and see what went well over there, or TikTok, or your blog, or your newsletter. So head on over there, take a look at the analytics, ask the same questions. Okay, now it's the time for the fun stuff. You can start taking that Instagram reel, rewriting it into a blog post, vice versa. Remember, when you're repurposing a video that is created for the ears into a piece of content that is created for the eyes, like a blog post or a newsletter, you can't just take your script and plop that, like your video script, or like this podcast, if I want to make this into a blog, I can't just take that script and plop it into a blog, because it is going to read horribly. The way that I have written these sentences, like the way that we actually speak, never makes good writing. So you have to this is where it helps to have someone on your side, someone who is a good copywriter and a copy editor to help you clean up this mess. So if you need help with that, I freaking love doing that. Just, yes, let me know. Okay, but I recommend starting with one single piece of content and thinking about how it can be repurposed into all the other formats and places you show up. So by this, I mean take that top performing piece and think, how can it become a blog or a Facebook post or show up on all the other platforms I create content on? Do all of that with one piece of content before trying to do it with another piece. Basically, take care of one piece of content at a time, because those ideas are fresh in your head. This, I understand, can be a time-sucking process. Make sure you schedule time to get it done and stop when time is up. If you only get through 3 pieces of content, that is amazing itself. That is awesome, because you've already at least just created 3 more pieces of content from one original post. But if this time investment is not up your alley, my team and I can take this off of your hands. So if you want to learn more about how I can do that for creators like you can visit travelcontentwriting.com and see all my things there. Okay, are you feeling a little bit better about your content? This is a lot of information. I know that. Do you feel like you at least have some actionable tips here, hopefully? If you did find this helpful, or if you feel like you learned something, or if you have a feeling now, whether it's good or bad. But if you want to share this with a friend and taking 5 little seconds to leave me like a rating or review, that would be really amazing. And if you are still here listening, thank you. I appreciate that. If you are looking for even more tips like this on how you can trade your content time for travel time, you can find all of those on my gram at travelcontentwriting.com. And if you do go stalk me on the gram, let me know. I'm not ashamed. I will not be freaked out. If you do that, let me know on Instagram if you came from the podcast. That would be really cool. Okay, friends, happy creating. I hope now you know what pieces of content are worth repurposing and how to actually do the dang thing. You can do it. Okay, I'll see you soon.